Hello, and welcome to the UKTIN European Advanced Connectivity Funding webinar. I'm Jenny Knapp, and I'm the Associate Director of UKTIN for the University of Bristol. I'd like to welcome you to the webinar where we'll be exploring advanced connectivity funding in the European context. We will be recording this session, and it'll be available to you afterwards on the UKTIN website. There will be time for questions at the end, so please put your questions into the Q&A box on your screens. I'd like to hand over now to Kostas Kastaros, who will be our MC for the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on UKTIN European Advanced Connectivity Funding opportunities. Today we'll be listening to national contact points that will be giving us information around the different opportunities from Horizon Europe and other European funding opportunities, but also hearing from experts who have done reviews. They have and will be able to share information on how you put a successful bid into these opportunities. First, I would like to hand over to Professor Dimitra Simeonidou to set the scene on why this is important to participate in these calls. Dimitra.
Yes, thank you, Kostas, and good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us in this UKTIN Advanced Connectivity European Funding webinar. I have been asked to set the scene, and let me start with the question, why European funding is important. At the heart of the discussion today is going to be Horizon Europe, and this is the EU's 95.5 billion euro research and innovation program, which started in 2021 and is going to terminate or conclude in 2027. This program, as you are going to hear, is open to all kinds of organizations, from businesses to NGOs to local authorities, charities, universities, and research institutes, and is mainly designed to tackle big shared challenges rather than isolated technology programs. So within the Horizon Europe, more than half of the budget is to what is called global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. And with the danger, actually, the risk that I'm going to repeat what is coming next, I would like you to pay attention to Cluster 4, which is actually on digital industry and space, and is especially relevant for our community. This is where we find key topics like AI, data computing, photonics and electronics, smart networks and connectivity, quantum and digital standards. And that is alongside separate joint undertakings, and that is taking some actually effort to understand how these joint undertakings are actually being formed, and how they function, like the 6G smart networks and services, CHIPS and Euro HPC. Together, these programs, because of the size and also the volume of participations, are shaping the future of digital infrastructure in Europe and by extension of the UK. So European funding matters because it does something that national schemes usually cannot do on their own, and this is to create these large multi-country collaborations that share risks, combine infrastructure and talent, and link research with innovation and deployment. It is about building this ecosystem and roadmaps for technologies like 5G, 6G, and beyond. And when we are talking about ecosystem, let me remind you that in our area, in our sector, Nokia and Ericsson are actually European headquartered companies. So the second question is, why does the UK need to be involved? And the first answer to this question is because we can. We are back in the game now. And the UK has been associated back to Horizon Europe since 1st of January 2024, which means that UK organization can participate to almost all parts of the program on the same terms that EU member states and other associated countries can. Second, if we are looking at our sector, advanced connectivity is strategically important both for Europe and for the UK. If you are looking at the draft work program, for instance, for 26 and 27, highlights advanced communication networks, specifically 6G, edge and cloud infrastructures, souvenir digital supply chains, photonics, and semiconductors as key threads for the EU program. Now, for the UK ourselves, with strengths in high-performance networks, software, photonics, and AI, it is very essential that we are in the room, helping to define those solutions and standards and not simply adapting to decisions made elsewhere. Third, Horizon Europe sits not on its own, but in a wider European funding landscape that also includes Eureka, and we are going to hear from Eureka today, is the world's largest network of international R&D cooperation across 47 countries, and the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which is Europe's largest innovation network. So together, this creates routes for us from very early stage research through to innovation and market deployment. And probably the third question is, what are the benefits in practice for you and for your organization? And you are going to hear talks today that they're going to spell out many benefits. For businesses, and that is quite important, and that's something that we don't normally have in the UK, European funding is upfront, is non-repayable, and non-dilutive funded for your businesses. So this is quite important in addition to sharing risks and costs. For instance, across European consortia benefit from expertise, talent, and facilities and infrastructure that has been growing in Europe. For university, I have been growing actually myself all my career with European funding. It's a real springboard for collaboration, innovation, and many, many breakthroughs. Now, today also, you are going to get a lot of practical help, and you're going to hear from the national contact points very shortly. You're going to get a demo from the UKTIN Discovery Toolkit, which is going to show you how we can use a toolkit like this as a front door for understanding funding streams, and actually actors within the UK that they are involved in these funding streams. So to close, and I can see that Kostas encouraged me to close, is that my invitation to you is, don't see European funding as something distant. And don't see European funding as a nice thing to have. See it as core part of your research funding strategy. So whether you are a startup, an established vendor, a researcher, or a public authority, please engage with the European programs, because there is a lot of benefit from the funding, but even bigger benefit from the collaboration. And I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dimitra. Very well said. Now we move to the first part of this webinar, which is the introduction of the European funding opportunities. And we'll be listening from national contact points from Horizon Europe, Eureka, and EIT. So first is Eleni Bohacek on Horizon Europe. Eleni, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Kostas, for the introduction. It's wonderful to be here this morning. Good morning. I'm going to, Professor Simeonidou just gave a really beautiful introduction to Horizon Europe. I'm going to re-emphasize the points that she's already made of what a fantastic opportunity this is for organizations in the UK. And as the national contact point for digital, which is part of Cluster 4, I'm going to show you specific calls that your organizers of this webinar have highlighted that you'd be particularly interested in. So we're going to do a big view of Horizon Europe, and then we're going to deep dive into some of those calls, and then I'm going to hand over to Ben and Teresa. So thank you. As we've already heard, Horizon Europe is a very, very big pot of money. It's a big framework program, and it provides a lot of opportunities for you to collaborate outside of the UK and reach external markets. And the really, really big, it's worth emphasizing, the really key difference between this and national funding from the UK is it's upfront funding. So it's not in arrears. if you're successful, your consortium is successful, you immediately get your funding that you can start doing wonderful things with. Yeah, if we could have the next slide, please. As we've also already heard, the UK is an associated country to Horizon Europe as of the 1st of January of last year. So we are able to participate in the absolute vast majority of the program, and all the other countries that you see shown on this map are participate. You can collaborate within Horizon Europe. So this, out of the 96 billion, how is the money divided up? It's divided up it's broken down into pillars. There's pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, and there's a sort of horizontal widening participation one underneath. In this session today, we're going to talk about within pillar 2, cluster 4, which is digital industry and space. And then my colleagues are going to show you opportunities in pillar 3. Thank you. So pillar 2 is all about global challenges in European industrial competitiveness. They issue specific topics and calls that are very, very well defined, what the ask is, and then the consortia apply to, they propose methods of addressing this. So this is not an open sort of, you can't, it's not open research, it's very targeted to specific things. And it's open to all types of organizations, whether they are academic research institutes, businesses from SMEs, small to medium enterprises, all the way to the multinational large companies. And sometimes they can be from, on the opportunities that are available can be 500,000, or they could be, up to things like 50, and they can span 2 to 5 years. So there's quite a broad range in the sort of opportunities that are available. And there's 3 types of actions. So that these 3 acronyms you'll get to know. There's research and innovation actions, and coordinated support actions. And they have research and innovation actions is more the earlier TRL, and then the funding is slightly different. I can go into these differences if you are interested in, but I think for now we'll press on. Thank you. So cluster 4, digital industry and space. The vision of the European Commission with this is to build a competitive, digital, low carbon and circular industry, ensure sustainable supply of raw materials, develop advanced materials, and provide the basis for advances and innovation to global challenges in society. So the most immediate, there are opportunities in telecoms in all the other clusters, which we're not going to go into today, but the most of them that are relevant you'll find in here. So that's why we're going to dive into this next. Thank you. The sort of domains that are addressed in this digital part of cluster 4 span from things like AI data and computing, robotics, photonics and electronics, smart networks and connectivity, quantum, graphene 2D materials and digital economy, international standards, XR, my brain's doing a blank. Anyway, it's like it's the reality stuff, virtual reality
Immersive.
things. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And in addition to this, so those ones are all in the main work program. In addition to this, there's separate joint undertaking calls in 6G smart networks and services, chips, and also Euro HPC, which stands for high power computing. And the digital NCP team is here to support you in applying for these topics. I specifically work on the main work program things, and we have a dedicated colleague called Craig Sharp who will help you with the joint undertakings. So at the end of this, I'll give you our email addresses, our shared mailbox, anything you're interested in, we can help you with between us. Then, yeah, this is just to give you an overview. The partnerships, these are sort of areas of work where sometimes the topics will be related to a partnership, and then the partnerships have their own sort of roadmap. And what's very helpful is if you can link your work into what they've already done before, it shows that you're engaged and you're part of this process. if we go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So where are we right now with all the topics and calls? The Horizon Europe ends in 2027 at the end of it, and there's a new work program that's currently in a draft form. It's not finalized. The wording could change slightly, and we're expecting it to get finalized next month. And this work program, for which you can access with this QR code, and I will also supply the links that you can click on when you get access to the slides later, has all the calls for 2026 and 2027. And the 2026 calls are opening in January for digital, and they close in April. So that means right now we are in a really, really good time to start preparing for the 2026 calls. I mean, a very good time to prepare for 2027 as well. So now is a really good, timely opportunity to get involved. This is just a little bit for reference. You might want to see it later, but all the topics in Horizon have a code, and this just sort of helps you figure out what it is. So if you look at the example, it's like Horizon. This example says cluster 6, but I'm going to show you ones for cluster 4. It shows you the year. So it'll be 26 or 27 for the next ones, and then it will, it's kind of just how it's structured. So I think we'll move on, but that gives you something you can refer to if you need it. The work program is a long document. It looks like this, and the table of contents is organized according to destination, which is the box in the middle outlined in red. And then, so you look in your destination, and then you can easily look up the code of the topic you're interested in. You can also look up keywords, and then you can navigate through there where you find the actual the written part of the topic. Yeah, this is more detail on what it looks like. I think let's leave this here for reference, and I'll start telling you about the particularly. Thank you so much. Great. So Cluster 4 Digital is broken up into 6 destinations. They're just how the European Commission has organized it, and these all have a different budget and number of topics assigned to them. So the budget is the total amount of money for that destination. The number of topics is the number of competitions. You can think of it like that. And very often they will be more than one winning consortia. So they might say this topic is out, and there might be 3 potential up. They will define a certain number of winners. So there might be 3 winning consortia who will then address that problem. So that's projects tells you how many of those are available. How many? So we've got. Okay, I'm going to take you to. We're going to talk about all of Destination 3 and some of Destination 4, because your wonderful organizers have said these look like the most relevant ones to UKTIN. So what are the upcoming opportunities in Destination 3, which is world-leading data and computing technologies? There's a 2027 and a 226 calls. These are all in the sort of domain of advanced communication networks, 5G, 6G, edge and cloud infrastructure, and the development of a sovereign digital supply chain, and achieving industrial competitiveness and strategic autonomy in critical digital technologies. Given the importance of open internet stack and 3C networks, the research outputs would be really impactful for any entity involved in research and innovation road mapping, innovation and standardization activities in advanced communication networks. And I think I will quickly just show you, so with this table, so if you look at, for example, the top entry for decentralized, federated and sustainable AI data processing, the overall budget is 35 million. And the EU want to fund 17 million per 2 projects. And that's how you end up with a 35 total. So that tells you that there will be 2 winning consortia who can win this funding. And then, so similarly, you can see that it's 39 million and 50 million for the next 2. And there's 3 projects each for those. So these are probably like the headline opportunities for you. And the 26 opportunities open in January, as we said. The 27 ones open in November next year. Destination 4 is quite giant. There's 20 different topics in this one. So this is just 3 out of these. This is in the destination of open strategic autonomy in digital and emerging enabling technologies. These 3 topics, which are 127 and the 226 ones, they're in developing advanced integrated components, so photonics and microelectronics, enhancing the energy efficiency of hardware, and strengthening the domestic semiconductor supply chain. So this seems particularly relevant for your community because these themes are fundamental to defining the next generation of connectivity, such as 6G networks and high-capacity data centers, making the research highly relevant to national telecoms innovation efforts focused on strategic autonomy and industrial competitiveness. There's only one winner of the 2 CSAs in 2026. Oh, I'm sorry, could we pop back just for, thank you. But there are 5 to 8 for the 27 call. So that's, the success rate in Horizon is super variable, but it's just something to bear in mind. And if you have any follow-on questions from this, I'm here to help. Yeah, thank you. We'll move on then. Okay, so you basically, to win this funding, you want to be in a winning consortium. It's basically a massive networking exercise. You need to collaborate with people who are likely to win, particularly likely to win if you're working with organizations who've won Horizon Europe funding in the past. That's a very good indication that they're more likely to win again. And then so that's the short story. I think I'll hand over to Ben now, but the rest of these slides are just sort of just outlining ways that you can join that. Yeah, Cordis as well is a resource where you can find who the past winners have been. Super useful, and this is showing you how to make contact. Thank you. And this final slide is just to say, I'm one of the national contact points. There are many more of us, and we live all across UKRI, and we're here to help. And yeah, with that, I will pass on.
Thank you very much, Eleni. We are moving
Cheers.
to Ben Morrison and Teresa Bello for Eureka opportunities. The slides will be available, so all the information that Eleni has showed quickly at the end, particularly the contact points, will be made available at the end of this webinar. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Eleni. Yes, so good morning, everybody. My name is Ben Morris, and I'm the Eureka project coordinator for the United Kingdom. Whilst it fits inside Pillar 3 of Horizon Europe, it's not necessarily a dedicated Pillar 3 Horizon Europe program, but I'll explain more as I go on. So next slide, please. So Eureka founded in 1985, so it's been around a very long time. There are 47 countries involved, and the next slide will show a map of those countries. So you can see it's predominantly geographic Europe, but with the added value that we've got Canada, Brazil, Chile, Singapore, South Korea, and South Africa as part of the network also as members. So you can see, as was mentioned previously, it's a far-reaching network of countries that are available for research and development. Next slide, please. So I'll quickly run through these programs as we don't have much time, but please do contact me after the webinar. My contact details are a slide further down, but yeah, if you've got any questions about any of these programs, let me know because I can go through them because they're all specific in their own right, and the way that we fund them is slightly different. So you can see the programs here are Eurostars, Clusters, Network Projects, Global Stars, Inner Wide, Investment Readiness, and Fast Track to the EIC Accelerator. There's a little description here of them, but I'll go into more detail following on. Next slide, please. Oh, if you go back one. So in terms of the program, so Eurostars, I'll go through them this way because I'm not sure of the slide going on, but Eurostars, there are 2 calls a year. It is a dedicated SME program. So if there are other types of entity, they can apply and participate, but they have to self-fund. But in terms of UK participation, we only fund the SME element here. There are 2 calls a year, a January open and a March close, a July open and a September close. And we commit £2.5 million to the call with a grant of up to about £310,000 by the time you converted it back. There are only 37 countries out of the 47 that participate in this stream, but it gives you a wide opportunity in terms of participation. It's open in theme. There's no specific sector, so it's a good way of an entry level into international collaboration if you're starting at the bottom as an SME in terms of being around for a couple of years. The cluster program, which follows on, is a bottom-up thematic stream. There are 5 of them. They are a sector-driven funding opportunity, and within them we have 5 sectors. We have software innovation, advanced manufacturing, electronic components systems, low carbon technologies, and 6G next gen communications. Depending on the actual cluster, depends on how much we put in from a grant point of view. These are open to all types of organizations, and we fund all types of organizations in the cluster calls. However, from a point of view of funding, we must have a UK business entity in the consortium if there were other types of academic or research organizations that were seeking funding. And in terms of the funding ratio, it's slightly different in terms of the way that we fund it in a normal domestic Innovate UK grant. So an academic or research organization could come into a grant for 30% of the total UK costs. Within the clusters and Eureka for UK participation, an academic or research organization can come in for 30% of the total UK business costs. So it's slightly lower than the normal domestic grant rate there. Network projects and Global Stars projects, they're essentially the same, where we get together as a network and discuss potential issues around the world that's going on. For example, Turkey, a few years ago, they decided to run a call on disaster resilience. We all come together, we discuss the scope of the call, and then we launch the call. And those that have funding available to support their own entities say, yes, we'll commit to the call and we'll put £2 million into the call. And Global Stars is essentially the same, but it's for working with countries that sit outside the network, such as Japan. There's a current live call with Japan, with UK participation alongside 15 other countries. And again, those countries decide the scope with the entities in Japan or with the funding body in Japan, and then we'll come together and launch a call, open the call, close the call, and we assess it at the national level and then decide on which projects we're going to fund. So you can see they're very similar, but it's really to encourage entities that sit outside the Eureka family to potentially in the future join the Eureka family. In a wide, this is an SME-driven funding opportunity. It's 6 months feasibility study in a country of their choice. So if you're looking to access markets, say in Brazil, you could go to Brazil, work with a subcontractor in Brazil. You can work through the legalities, what it takes to run a business in that country, potentially the markets that are available to you in those countries, and really just to do a discovery and research feasibility project for 6 months to decide whether actually you've got an opportunity to commercialize in that country. Investment readiness program, that's where you've got the networking and mission focused activity. Eureka will potentially arrange a mission or a participation in a large event in a country that supports industries. And what happens is that you can go to that country. We recently did one in Singapore called Switch. Eureka took a cohort of businesses there. They got them into the Switch event. They made sure that there was available for networking in businesses that were in that country, not only from Singapore, but also other countries take cohorts, those things. So it's a big network and opportunity, access to finance type activities and networking. And it's essentially built around for startups and SMEs. And then the final opportunity there is a fast track to the EIC accelerator. This is where it links into pillar 3 of the Horizon Europe program, and so does Eurostars, because we get a top up from the European Commission for participation. But the fast track is essentially an SME that's gone through a Eurostars program, and they are deemed of a higher quality. And what they do is they skip the first short proposal section of the application process in the accelerator, and then they move directly to the full proposal. What the plus points for that are, what the plus points for that are is that the opportunities for the mentoring and the coaching and helping going through the interface process. So those that are on the call that have gone through EIC Accelerator, you'll know how difficult it is in terms of pitching, mentoring, in terms of how you do your interviews within the accelerator. So that's the added bonus to this. Next slide, please. These are all the links to the Eureka clusters I mentioned. As Costa said, the presentation will be shared after the event, and then you can click onto each individual cluster there, so you can go through and do a bit more detail, do some research, and then if you think that this is something for you that you want to participate in, let me know, because we can talk through the process and how it all works. And I'll caveat with this, that all the funding streams that you currently see that I've gone through, we're still waiting for the 26-27 budget. So whilst you can participate at this moment in time until potentially later in the year, early new year, I'm unable to confirm if we've got financial commitment to any of these programs that I've just mentioned. Next slide, please. These are my details. If you want to take note of that, please contact me. Happy to chat through any of the programs that I've mentioned in more detail, so you can get a better flavor for what it takes to involve. As I said, each of those programs I mentioned have different criteria for different types of organization. Essentially, the majority of them, all types of organization can participate and apply for, but it just really depends on whether your entity is eligible for funding. So yeah, please let me know and I'll pass you over to Teresa.
Thank you, Ben. And good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here with you today. So you've heard a little bit from Eleni and Ben on the other parts of Horizon Europe. And now I would like to talk about another area in Horizon Europe, EIT, which stands for the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. My name is Teresa Armardi from Innovate UK, and I am your national contact point, or NCP, in the UK for EIT. So if you represent a business, research organization, university, or other entities, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about EIT today and how you might be able to participate in it. So in terms of overview, sorry, if you could go back one slide. In terms of objectives, I'll quickly talk through my role as a national contact point, or NCP, and then where EIT fits in the wider context of Horizon Europe. And finally, we'll go take a look at the kind of activities and opportunities that are available within EIT. Next, please. So as Eleni mentioned earlier, Eleni, Ben, and I are part of the wider UK NCP team, or National Contact Point team. And we're NCP for our own respective areas. We are appointed by the government to support UK organizations to successfully participate in Horizon Europe. So we raise awareness and essentially help you navigate through the complex Horizon Europe opportunities. So if you are a UK entity and you have queries about EIT opportunities, you can get in touch with me, and I'll provide my contact at the end. And if you want to reach out to the other NCPs in the UK for other parts of Horizon Europe, Eleni provided the nice graph, but you can also scan the QR code on the left. We're all listed there. Our contact details are also there. So yeah, you can scan the QR code on the left. And also, as Horizon Europe national contact points in the UK, we also send out newsletters. It's a free service. I would recommend subscribing to it, so you have the most up-to-date information from your NCP, and you can do that by scanning the QR code on the left, on the right, or by clicking on the link later on. Next slide, please. Now, before I go on further with the EIT, I like to pause with a question more like a reminder to what Dimitra did at the beginning earlier. Why really is international collaboration important? It opens doors, doesn't it? It solves global challenges, allows you to collaborate with world-leading organizations and cutting-edge technologies. It ensures alignment with the global marketplace, and most importantly, international collaboration creates jobs, promotes growth, and stronger supply chains as well. I attended a workshop recently, and someone said to me that to truly grow and scale, you need to consider playing in the global field, and this is why international collaboration is important. Next slide, please. Now, Eleni has shown this graph before, but I just wanted to show where EIT sits in this wider structure. So at the beginning, Dimitra and Eleni mentioned that Horizon Europe is Europe's key 95.5 billion euro research and innovation, or R&I, program that runs between 2021 to 2027. And I also wanted to mention that it is also the largest R&I program in the world. And Horizon Europe is divided into three main parts or pillars. I'm not going into depth today, but I just wanted to focus on EIT that sits under Pillar 3, which is Innovative Europe, alongside EIC, or European Innovation Council, and the European Innovation Ecosystems, or EIE, where Eureka lies. And as I said, Pillar 3 is Innovative Europe, which focuses on scaling up high potential technologies and supporting business growth. And that means that the initiatives within it are there to support and connect innovators across Europe. So yes, we know that Europe has a solid research and industrial base. However, we could improve by using that strength to accelerate innovation and support the growing and scaling of innovative SMEs. And we address that through the EIC, the European Innovation Council, the EIE, the European Innovation Ecosystems, and EIT, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. Next slide, please. Now, EIT. EIT is an independent EU body, European Union body, that aims to boost Europe's capacity to innovate by supporting entrepreneurial talent and new ideas. Now, this is key. EIT creates synergies and added value within Horizon Europe by embracing the triangle of knowledge that you see there on the slide, and that consists of companies, universities, and research centers, and on top of that, also cities, regions, and non-governmental organizations, or NGOs as well. So there's a variety of actors that are involved and are participating within the EIT. There are initiatives within EIT to train a new generation of entrepreneurs, develop innovative products and services, and to power startups and scale-ups. And these are delivered by and for these players within this triangle of knowledge. Next slide, please. Now, again, that we know EIT aims to support Innovative Europe. It is good to understand how EIT aims to achieve that and to understand the kind of opportunities and activities that you're looking at within EIT. There are three main streams of support that EIT offers. The first arm within EIT is education and skills, and it's there to develop entrepreneurship and to provide businesses and industry with a skilled workforce. And within this umbrella falls the training and bootcamp type of activities within EIT. The second function is innovation, to facilitate collaboration between, going back to my previous slide, the triangle of knowledge. So universities, research organizations, and businesses for commercialization. And the last EIT arm is business creation, to support startups and ventures to accelerate their growth. And this is more the investment side of things within EIT. These activities are mostly being done through the EIT KICs, or Knowledge and Innovation Communities, which I will talk about in a moment. Some of them are done with a collaborative effort from the different KICs, so as a cross-KIC collaboration. But generally, this is the structure that the KICs use to support the different actors within EIT. And this shows that there are different entry points for various actors, organizations, and even early career innovators into EIT. So I mentioned EIT KICs earlier, which stands for Knowledge and Innovation Communities. They are Europe-wide networks centered around addressing a specific societal challenge. And each of them is a community of their own. Each of them is a community consisting of higher education institutions, research centers, businesses and investors, and public and nonprofit organizations as well. As you can see on the slide, there are 9 active KICs and one that's just been launched a couple of weeks ago. That is EIT Water. So apart from water, we have climate, digital, energy, health, raw materials, food, manufacturing, urban mobility, and our second youngest KIC is culture and creativity. And with this slide, I wanted to say that the EIT KICs and their partners are essentially the different parts and different cogs that make up the EIT the EIT community. And a lot of the time, their scope is quite wide, and they're not entirely exclusive of each other. But this is exactly why, because they wanted to build communities and nurture the actors that are playing within it. Now, as you can probably imagine, with the KICs, there's a lot of opportunities within the EIT communities. And one of my tasks as a national contact point is to point you to where they are. The opportunities within EIT are not usually listed on the Horizon Europe Funding and Tenders portal, like most other Horizon Europe opportunities. So 2 methods that I often suggest to my clients. So the first method is by using the link on the left QR code. That's attached to the left QR code. That would take you to the list of EIT opportunities that are listed on the EIT main website. It's very straightforward. If you need help with checking eligibility, where best to find partners for your consortium, etc., feel free to get in touch with me. And the second method is with the QR code on the right. I expect most, if not all of you, know what technological focus you're working on. Of course, sometimes they don't only fit within one box or one category or one KIC, and that's fine. That means you have more opportunities to explore and to consider. And because the EIT operates through their KICs, you can, by going to that link, it will take you to what looks like the screenshot on the bottom, the different list of KICs, and then from there you can select the area or areas that you're interested in, and then visit the website of the EIT KICs. I usually recommend this method more because essentially because the EIT KICs are the ones that are running the opportunities and running the program, they would have a fuller list of opportunities, for example, including call for procurement within their own websites. So yes, those are the 2 methods. And additionally, as I mentioned earlier, as national contact points, we also send out newsletters, and I share the EIT opportunities from there as well. So those are the methods to find the EIT opportunities. And that's it from me. That's my email address and the QR code to the National Contact Point newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa, and thank you all the national contact points, Eleni, Ben, and Teresa again. You have listened to the opportunities from Horizon Europe to EIT and Eureka. So this hopefully has inspired you to try to find consortia to build a proposal. But we now go to the second part of this webinar, how you successfully craft a successful Horizon grant proposal. What is a practical guide, how you go about it. We'll start first with Savas and a demo of the UKTIN Discovery Toolkit, effectively a toolkit that was developed in order to help you find potential partners in this very large ecosystem, European, in UK and European, effectively. And then we'll move to the second discussion. So, Savas, thank you.
Thank you, Kostas. Hello, everyone. My name is Savas Manzouranidis, and I have been working with the University of Bristol for the past 2 years to bring you this tool that I'm going to present today. So let me quickly share my screen for everyone to see. All right. So I assume that you are able to see my screen now. Can I get a confirmation on that, please?
All good, Savas. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to try to keep it simple. So what this tool is we wanted to create an easy way for people interested in the telecommunication sector of the UK to understand what research is happening currently and who is doing that research and where is this research being done. There are many useful websites around, like Cordis that was mentioned before, and others that include all of those research projects, but there wasn't an easy way to see everything under one single dashboard, let's say. So this is how this tool came to be. Now, this is free to use for everyone registered with the UKTIN. So after creating your account for UKTIN and logging into this tool, you will be presented with this screen. And what you have to do here is basically search what your topic of interest is. So for this demo, I'm going to use 6G, which is something very relevant lately. And within half a second or so, you will be presented with a table of research projects. Now, as I mentioned before, these research projects are being drawn from multiple web sources. So straight away, you can see the benefit that this tool takes away the manual effort you would do to find all of those projects from different resources. So this is the default view, which is the table view. And here, this basically acts as an Excel spreadsheet. So every column has filters that you can apply to narrow down the results. So for each of these research projects, you can see their basic information like their title, their status, if they're still active or not, who is the lead organization, who funded the project and for how much money. But if you click and expand one of the rows, you can see more information that would be really useful to your use case. Potentially is which are the participating organizations in this project, but also you can read more in the project description. We have an alternative view of this table on the top right here. You can group by organization. So if you know a specific organization and you want to see what type of research they are doing in this specific topic that you have searched, 6G, you can go into this view and see, for example, BT Group has been participating in all of these projects which are related to 6G. And here it works in the same way. If you expand, you can read more information about it. So moving on, and I will come back to the table view later, we have another tab which is called charts. Now, the nature of this application, the Discovery Toolkit, is that all of the data works around, all of the results work around the same data that was fetched on your initial search. So these charts are drawn and they correspond to the research projects related to 6G that I have searched. So here in the first chart, we can see an annual funding of projects throughout the years. So you can see all the way back from 2015, 16, up to the future, because some projects end in the future, how much money has been given to fund 6G projects and how many projects were started in each year. And on the right chart, you can see a comparison between different funding bodies and how much money they have put into 6G projects, which is also very useful to know. Now, on the third map, on the third tab, which is the map view, here we have a map of the UK showing where the participating organizations are located. And this use case helps a lot of users who are interested in exploring how active a certain area is. So if you zoom into a specific area that is of interest to you, you can see the different organizations that are located there. Now here we also have a heat map mode, which shows you how the funding is distributed across the UK by using heat maps, which is also something useful to understand where money is concentrated, let's say, based on this research. Now, going back to the table, for each organization, if you want to dive deeper and understand what each organization specifically is, you can click on their name. And by doing that, you launch the company profile, is what we call it. So here you get more detailed information like their registered address, what they specifically are categorized as. You get an AI generated summary, which is a 2-paragraph explaining how this organization is involved within the UK's telco sector. And finally, you get a dedicated view on the projects that they work in, and you get more information about the people, the officers behind this company. Now, lastly, and because I'm running out of time, probably you have seen on the very right side here, we have an AI chat. Now, what this does is it helps you understand the projects better, the results, because sometimes it can be a lot. So for this example, I will filter down to only show projects that have ended in 2025. And I can make a question, for example, what are some common research topics in these projects? So this is an easy way to understand what a large subset of projects is working on, what is referencing. So here you see in a matter of few seconds, the AI assistant read through all of the project descriptions and it gave back a list of the most common research topics mentioned there. And from here you can go, you can continue the conversation by saying, okay, tell me which projects mention the network determinism and reliability, and it will go on. You can basically ask anything, and its purpose is to help you understand better the data without you struggling. Finally, you can right-click on the table and export this data into an Excel format for you to analyze even more. Thank you very much. There will be a QR code for you to use this tool and try it out. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those in the Q&A section.
Thank you very much. And as Alva said, this is a free tool and can help you discover partners, discover ideas, and better build your consortia. And it's a nice segue to the next discussion point with Richard Foggy on how to form those partnerships and consortia. Before Richard starts, I would like to ask everyone if they have any question, put them in the Q&A. We will have a session at the end where we can try to answer some of those. So Richard, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Costas. Okay, how to form partnerships and consortia. It's easy. You just sit there, wait for a call to open, put your profile in some sort of web form, and they beat a path to your door. No, this is not how it happens. And indeed, I'd like to consider, next slide, please, where do the work programs come from? So Eleni, Ben have outlined this massive program of work, but who decides where the money is directed? So on here we've kind of got a scheme of how the ideas and the money go round. And again, we had reference to industry associations. We've got some here, they're associated with joint undertakings, although we've referenced others, there are many to choose from. And these organizations constitute private members from across all the nations who participate. And in concert with the Commission, who they work hand in glove with, they craft the Strategic Innovation and Research Agenda. That's plural. If there was only one, it would be an agenda. And indeed, those SIRA form the direction and the basis of the work programs and the topics that are addressed. The nation states, again, they interact with the Commission, set priorities, and of course supply the funding. And then the Commission runs the calls and through the funding and tenders portal, and everybody can have a go at it. Now, also consider, next slide, please, that industry association members are well represented in successful consortia. Now, this isn't magic or rocket science. Okay, sometimes it is rocket science if we're dealing with space, but that's because they've been involved in setting these agenda, and they're dependent on their members to do this. I've been involved in some of these, and it's always a struggle to find busy business people to get involved and actually work for the greater good, the common benefit, to put these documents together. Now, these industry associations, they're networked. They organize the brokerage, get to these meetings, and as I mentioned, they work directly with the relevant directorates general. So if you want to be successful, join, step forward, get known. Collaboration is a contact sport. The more you put into this, the more you will get back from it. And so my final thought, next slide, please. Start here. Yeah, Innovate UK provides support for businesses to get out and engage in that networking with our European counterparts. So indeed, for February next year, the ECS, Electronic Component System Brokerage events, are on at, I think it's the Egg in Brussels, great venue. And there's a little bit of wherewithal to get you out there, to start making those introductions that hopefully will encourage you to join one of these industry associations and really get involved in these European collaborations. If you do, you will benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard. Now we'll move to Anne, the lead from this Catapult, on how to write a successful proposal. It's a mystery. It's a wizardy. So, Anne.
Thank you very much, Costas. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. So I would like to thank the organizers of this webinar for inviting me to give a presentation today. I am very thrilled to have you there. And without further ado, let's dive into the structure and strategies that would make your proposal stand out. Thank you. So understanding the structure of an horizon call is crucial for crafting a successful proposal. Each call is part of a work program detailing funding opportunities for specific topics. As Eleni mentioned earlier, these topics include a type of action, a deadline model, whether it's 1 or 2 steps, as well as the timeline for submission. There is a topic description detailing expected outcomes and scope as well. It is mandatory to respect these deadlines. Missing them means missing out on the opportunity to compete for the specific funding you are targeting. The first step in the proposal writing process is an in-depth understanding of the objectives of a specific call open under the Horizon Europe granting scheme. Additionally, a detailed review and understanding of the evaluation criteria for the specific call is essential. It is also beneficial to explore funded projects in the CORDIS database, as we mentioned earlier, or through the UKTIN tool, to see how projects have been designed and partnership formed. Think of the call as the visible part of an iceberg. To truly align your proposal, you need to consider the context and the purpose of the call, the specific challenges of the topic, its scope, and the expected impact. And as Richard mentioned earlier, it is always useful to be part of EU association, especially if the topic that you want to apply for is part of a specific EU association. Highlighting keywords and checking cross-references as well can provide a comprehensive perspective that strengthens your proposal. This holistic approach ensures that your proposal not only meets the requirement, but also stand out in the competitive landscape of Horizon Europe funding. Next slide, please. So in this slide, we explore the critical link between the EU policy priorities and your project results. The European Union's overarching priorities, such as the Green Deal and Fit for the Digital Age, guide strategic orientation, where research and innovation investments are expected to make a significant difference. Your proposal should clearly demonstrate how it contributes to these priorities by aligning with key strategic orientation and impact areas. The strategic orientation are shaped by EU policies, creating a framework where research and innovation investment can truly excel. Impact areas highlight the most important transformation to be delivered through research and innovation. It is crucial to articulate how your project will deliver significant transformations, ultimately contributing to the expected impact outlined in the work program. Expected impact or destination refer to the wider long-term effect on society, the economy, the science, enabled by the outcome of research and innovation investment. Project results are what you are generate during implementation, including know-how, innovation solution, and more. These results often become intellectual property, potentially protected by formal rights. Aligning your proposal with these elements not only strengthens it, but also underscores its relevance and potential for long-term societal, economic, and scientific benefits. Next slide, please. So each proposal is structured into a part A, covering general information and administrative data, and a part B, which is called the technical part, focusing on excellence, impact, implementation. Each section plays a pivotal role in presenting a comprehensive and compelling case for your project. Understanding these components will help you structure your proposal effectively. Next slide, please. So the excellence section is your opportunity to showcase the innovation potential of your project. It is crucial to clearly articulate the novelty of your research, its objectives, and the methodology employed. Please ensure your objectives are SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound to effectively respond to the course objectives. This is very of utmost importance to have SMART objectives because it demonstrates that you have a clear and shared vision of what your project will deliver, and therefore it will convince the evaluators that your project is well thought and strong. This clarity will help as well the evaluators to quickly grasp the significance of your project and its alignment with the course objectives. Remember, the more precise and pertinent your objectives, the stronger your proposal will be and the higher score you will get. Next slide, please. So continuing with the excellence section, here we emphasize the importance of demonstrating the novelty and ambition of your proposed research activities. Your proposal should go beyond the state of the art, showcasing its potential for significant breakthroughs. When talking about the state of the art, please ensure that you are using relevant and pertinent bibliographic references to detail the current baseline, the current state of the art. Often, I assess proposals that are lacking detail and convincing state of the art with references. This results in a lower marking, potentially below the threshold, which prevents you to be funded. I would like to precise as well that when talking about bibliographic reference, it is important to ensure that you clearly describe the main advancement of each reference. Please do not only quote bibliographic references without explaining why they are pertinent and what outcomes they provide. Sometimes applicants quote bibliographic references, provide the internet link, but evaluators are not supposed to click on the links provided. Only the proposal is evaluated, not potential annexes that could be provided via internet link. There is a time constraint for each evaluator, and your proposal should be as clear as possible within the page limit. Please remember as well that if your proposal goes beyond beyond the page limit, excess pages will be disregarded by experts. So this narrative as well should clearly outline how your project will push the boundaries of current knowledge and contribute to the field. Next slide, please. So in the final part of the excellence section, it is crucial to present a detailed, robust, and coherent methodology to demonstrate your project feasibility. Your methodology should align with your project objectives and addresses significant challenges. This includes a comprehensive description of the research design, techniques, and methods to be employed, justifying why these approaches are the most suitable for achieving the project objectives. Consider interdisciplinary approaches, highlighting the specific skills, experience, knowledge brought by each member of the consortium, and how they will complement each other to achieve the objectives of the project. There is also other considerations such as gender dimension, open science practices, and research data management that need to be a part of your methodology. So this comprehensive approach will not only strengthen your proposal, but also demonstrate your commitment to excellence in research. Next slide, please. So now let's shift our focus to the impact section, which highlights your project innovation capacity. In this section, you need to propose a credible pathway to achieve the expected outcomes and impacts specified in the work program. Demonstrating your project contribution to these outcomes while identifying potential barriers and mitigation measures reassures evaluators of your ability to effectively develop your proposed activities and tackle challenges. So think of your project as a puzzle piece in the larger EU landscape. At the big picture level, your project should address major EU challenges. On a medium scale, identify how your work package contributes to these challenges and links with other work package or focus area. On a smaller scale, clearly outline the expected impact of your project. Consider national, regional, or other local challenges as well. Highlighting all these impacts effectively communicates the value and significance of your research. By aligning your project with these different types of level of impact, you demonstrate a comprehensive understanding of its role and potential. Next slide, please. So it is crucial as well to enhance the impact narrative by detailing how your project will contribute to the broader impact outlined in the work program. You need to estimate and quantify the scale and significance of your project contributions to this impact. To achieve that, please provide some key performance indicators to track progress, focusing on scientific, societal, and economic impact. As previously mentioned, it is very essential to identify any potential barriers to achieving the expected outcomes and propose relevant mitigation measures in order to achieve meaningful impact. Next slide, please. So in this slide, we'll cover dissemination, exploitation, and communication strategies. Your proposal must include a plan for exploiting and disseminating results with concrete action during and after your project. You need to identify target groups and outline how results will be shared and used. If your results lead to a product, process, or service, include a clear exploitation strategy. Additionally, outline a strategy for managing intellectual property to support the exploitation of results. Next slide, please. So finally, let's discuss the implementation section. So you need to detail work packages, specify participants, and outline objectives, tasks, and deliverables. For each work package and task, please specify who will undertake the activities, as well as the duration of them. This enables the evaluators to understand if resources have been correctly allocated and the logic of your work plan. You need to ensure the resources are aligned with objectives and include a Gantt chart to visualize timelines and dependency of the different tasks. You need to establish as well a clear and effective governance model, identify critical risks, and propose proper mitigation measures. This demonstrates the pertinence of your proposed work, strengthen your methodology to achieve the objectives, and convince the evaluators. When describing the critical risks, please ensure that you are covering technical, project management, legal, and financial risks. Too often, one or more of these different categories is missing, and as a consequence, this leads to a lower mark. Please ensure as well that your budget is realistic, aligned with the course limit, and consistent with the project scopes. Next slide, please. So the final advice for proposal writing. So as we conclude, remember these key tips such as provide verifiable information. There is a time constraint for each evaluator, and your proposal should be as clear as possible within the page limit. Focus only on eligible activities, and by following these guidelines, you can create a compelling and successful proposal that stands out in the very competitive landscape of Horizon funding. So thank you very much for listening. Best of luck with your proposal writing, and feel free to reach out with any question you may have.
Thanks. And any further point from Richard as well on this, on kind of insights?
Yeah, consider the assessor. What a terrible job that is. They've got all these proposals to go through, not a lot of time to do it, and they don't get paid an awful lot for doing it either. So yeah, to tease out what I'd consider some of the more important elements from Anne's talk is clarity, the specificity. Please don't waffle. Less is more in these. Quantification of outputs and benefits. Often they're qualified to a good extent, but one bugbear I have is that people haven't made an attempt to quantify what these benefits may be. It's finger in the air stuff, but please make a credible estimation of those. And again, diagrams. A picture is worth 1,000 words. That's often the case. However, I've seen a lot of proposals where the diagrams are trying to be too clever by half. There is just too much information in them, and it's a struggle. It's defeated the object of the exercise. So yeah, be to the point, be as quantitative as you can when you put this together, and consider the assessor's eyesight when it comes to the color schemes and amount of content in the diagrams. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. And a personal note around this proposal evaluation. In the past, kind of more than 10 years ago, being successful meant that getting a score of 12 out of 15 was good enough. Now the proposals have become more and more competitive, and even recently I've heard things like you need to have 14 or even 14.5 out of 15. That means an excellent, not just excellent, a total kind of total score in order to be successful. So getting all those insights and help from your national contact points and what Anne presented into writing a successful proposal is quite important. Now, I would like to invite all the presenters to come on screen, and if you have further questions, please put them in the Q&A. We have a few already. So I will go the first, which will be for the NCPs particularly. So Thomas asks if the UK NCPs still offer a proposal document review service for Horizon and Eureka calls for the consortium?
I can start, Costas. So regarding Eureka, because Eureka is such a wide and open program, and I'm the only person that looks after Eureka, I'm not in a position to really go through the technicalities of an application. If businesses or institutions want to contact me to talk about the scope and levels of technical readiness level, they're more than happy to go through that and any pitfalls that you may come across, such as the previous speakers have mentioned in terms of content and how to write a proposal. So more than happy to do that, but I'm not a technical person, so I couldn't go into any details in specific. Over to the Teresa and Eleni.
Yeah, I can add to what Ben said. I would say it really depends on the NCP, on the national contact point, and their scope of work and their workload at the time. Generally, we are on your side, and we want to help UK entities to successfully participate in Horizon Europe. But as for myself and my stance with EIT is quite similar with Eureka in terms of that it's really wide in terms of scope. So I wasn't picked as an NCP because I'm particularly good at one of the scopes. But we are here to help you as national contact point to navigate you through the different opportunities. And if you want to check in regards with scope and eligibility, we are there to help you. Yeah. Eleni, anything to add?
Thank you. From the Cluster 4 digital perspective, the absolute best thing I can recommend is there's a proposal checking service which is free and it's offered by the network. So it wouldn't be just me, it would be like the whole network of NCPs across the world. And it's so currently it's not live because the recent call's just closed, but I've shared a link in the webinar chat to this. And basically, you'll be able to submit your proposal to them. It will then get checked by two evaluators. So you'll actually have evaluators looking at your proposal, and then you have a meeting with them and some of the NCPs where you get the feedback. And it doesn't really get better than that for if you want proper technical review on your proposal. So yes, if you sign up to my newsletter, I will always email out when that opens. But just as a heads up, that will open and close ballpark about a month before the call deadline. So it will not help if it's a lastminute.com thing. But if you're super prepared, this is absolutely the best path.
Thanks, Eleni. And just comment, because the chat is not available for our participants, I put the link to a question as an answer to Johnny, who asked a similar question around if there are reviewers available. So the link is there for everyone about this idealist proposal. The second question that we have, I won't go through the project pitch, but the summary is that a UK SME has a product in TRL 5 that has been validated through different forms and I guess previous funding, and they are actively collaborating under Horizon Europe Cluster 4. The question is about which UK EU grant program from ESA artists, because this is a satellite related research, Horizon or EIT and EIC would be most suitable to advance to TRL 6 and validate and have a minimal valuable product, or going higher TRLs, I guess.
Yeah, I could take that question first from a Eureka point of view. In Eureka, there's the Eurostars option as an SME, and there's also the cluster option potentially. The clusters, as I mentioned earlier, there are 5 thematic clusters. One of them is Celtic Next, which is all about next-gen communications, including satellite applications. A typical Eurostars project is 2 to 3 countries, 3 to 4 partners, and an average cost of about 1.6 million euros. Starting TRL should be 4, with an expectation to get to TRL 7 or 8 during the lifetime of the project, and then TRL 8 or 9 within 2 years post project. So that's the Eureka journey in both Eurostars and the clusters. But a typical clusters project is much larger in terms of the consortium size. So a typical Celtic Next cluster can be anything between sort of 5 and 8 countries, and anything from sort of like 5 to 15 partners in the project, and a project cost of probably about 10 to 15 million euros. But that's as an average. It's not specific, it's not explicit. You don't have to be like that. You can have 2 to 3 countries and smaller project costs. It's really, have a look at the Celtic Next cluster website, and then get in contact with me and we can discuss it in more details. As I mentioned, I'm not technical, but I can go through the scope and I can go through the potential journey of your application so that you can give the best application you can. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Anyone else from other funding?
Yeah, I can add a bit. So space is not covered in EIT as a kick per se. However, if you can potentially justify, for example, in terms of application, in terms of software or other parts, perhaps you can explore EIT Digital. Some of the EIT kicks often have more open calls, but space in itself is not covered within EIT.
Thank you, Teresa. Last question was around templates, and Eleni has answered that. So, as far as I know, yes, there are a lot of templates available. And Eleni, you want to expand on this?
I shared the link to the template for Pillar 2. So there'll be a separate. This won't help you if you're applying for EIT or Eureka. But that is that's what you actually have to fill out when you do it, and it will tell you what you need to answer for each bit. It shows you the structure. Oh, actually, I might have sent you the evaluation form. Okay, there's also a template. I'll get that. The evaluation form is also super useful because that tells you what the evaluators are looking for. So, okay, I'll edit my answer. I'll label that as the evaluation form, and I'll also get hold of the template while the Q&A continues.
Yeah. Thank you, Eleni. Are there any other templates for EIT or Eureka, or is it?
Yeah, so on the Eureka side, there are templates for the application process, but you have to go into each individual funding stream to find out. So rather than me put the links to all the website or the funding streams are in my presentation, so you can go to them. There's a resource library for Eurostars, and then each individual cluster will have their own set of documents that you can click into. But if people are struggling with the navigation of it, please contact me and we can have a quick 10 minutes on Teams, and I can navigate through the sort of the minefield that it may feel that it looks like.
Thank you.
Sorry, I can add from EIT. There's no template because the opportunities within EIT are essentially produced and published by the knowledge innovation community. So by each of the KICs, so it really is up to them how they want to format, what kind of applications they favor more, etc. So it is up to the KIC. So if you know where you're working on and which KIC is most interesting to you, learn that KIC. Yeah.
Thanks, Teresa. Are there any further questions for the panelists? I have one for Ben. You may have mentioned it, but I didn't catch it clearly. Because Celtic Next is publishing the next spring call and opening in next week, I think, 1st of December. Is Innovate UK supporting this or not yet, or we will know later?
Of course, yeah. So I've inform the cluster with the likelihood is we won't support it because we're still waiting for, and this is across the whole of UKRI and Innovate UK on the sort of non-Horizon Europe front. Although the budget has come in at the top level, it hasn't been cascaded down to sectors and teams yet. So I don't have visibility of what budget I have for 26-27. And to manage the expectation of consortia, because I know it takes time to put consortia together, rather than say a week before the call closes that we finally have budget. I don't want to put that burden on a consortia, so I'm committing that we don't have budget for the spring call, and the most likely scenario was that we will have funding for the autumn call. So there'll be an autumn Celtic Next call, and the other clusters actually have a call that opens in the autumn as well. So all 5 clusters will have something available. Fingers crossed that we get that commitment for the budget, and hopefully it will be a 3-year commitment rather than the 1 year that we had this year due to the settlement figure that we got from government.
Yeah, thanks very much. Very clear, Ben. Any other comment? Any other question? Anyone? Not at this stage. Thank you very much. Thank the National Contact Points, Richard, Anne, everyone, and Professor Dimitra earlier for that introduction. It has been very insightful, a lot of information. We will be sharing these slides with all the links available. Jenny, if you want to wrap up this session. Are you on mute?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I now visible?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for attending. I think it's been a really interesting and insightful webinar. Just to let you know that there is a slide. The next slide will show you the contact points for the NCP, the National Contact Points, and as well as the slides that they presented. There's also on the following slide a link again to the UKTIN Discovery Toolkit. And finally, I'd like to tell you about an exciting UKTIN event, which is on AI and advanced communications, which is coming in London on January the 15th in the new year. We'd love to see you all there. And the webinar and video and the slides from this presentation, and we'll add in Eleni's links to templates and things like that. If you send those to us, Eleni, we can add those into the slides. They'll be up on the UKTIN website very soon. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all of our speakers for sharing their experience and, as Kostas said, very helpful insights into the various different European opportunities, and particularly into how all the tips about how to craft a successful application and keep evaluators happy so that they give you a good score. Thank you once again for coming, and look forward to seeing you hopefully in the new year in London. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone.